Swarkestone Bridge is a medieval bridge crossing the River Trent, between the villages of Swarkestone and Stanton by Bridge. Every year, on the first weekend in December, a reenactment is held to mark the southernmost point of the Jacobite advance on London. The bridge was first mentioned in 1204, when it was referred to as Pont de Cordy. Over the hundreds of years since, the bridge has been repaired and rebuilt, but what we see today dates from the late 13th century. The bridge and causeway were part of the King's Highway and had been the main route into Derby from the south. Over the years, the bridge has proved to be of strategic importance. For about 300 years, it was the only crossing between Burton-upon-Trent and Nottingham. In January 1643, the bridge was the location of a minor battle during the English Civil War. Then, in 1745, the bridge was the southernmost point of Bonnie Prince Charlie's Jacobite army, but finding no reports of support to the south, they turned back and retreated to Scotland, where they were defeated at the Battle of Culloden on the 16th of April 1746.
This would have been the biggest river they'd actually crossed. Previous to that, on the march down from Scotland, they crossed the Meuse.
Company, have a care! Dress that way!
And he's going to talk to you.
I am indeed, yes. Good morning, everybody. Thank you. So, I read it for you this morning, a section of what were effectively King George's armies in the 18th century. And I'll quickly run through the various regiments. You can see that they're all dressed quite differently. So, starting at the top, we have Pulteney's 13th Regiment of Foot. Now, these chaps are effectively regular soldiers of the British Army. These chaps are veterans of the European wars, well-trained, well-drilled troops. Brought over here in order to help stop the rebellion. So this is your effective British infantry, your classic redcoats. Next to Pulteney's, we've got the Black Watch. Now as you can see, these chaps are dressed considerably differently. Just to show you that the Jacobite rebellion was a civil war. It wasn't England versus Scotland. It was England and Scotland, everybody versus everybody. These chaps are fighting for King George, for the crown. These are brave Scotsmen fighting against the rebellion. Again, well-drilled regulars, the 42nd Foot. These chaps would know the Highland way of fighting. Very valuable troops to have. Now we've dealt with the regulars. Coming down the line somewhat, you've got more uniform militia. So the chaps in the blue here, these chaps are men of the Edinburgh City Guard. You might think we're a little bit lost. However, these men were Scotland's first police force. Edinburgh at the time did not like having regular troops barracked in the city. So the city itself paid for a uniformed militia to patrol the streets. And as you can see, they are equipped exactly the same as Pulteney's. They would be drilled, they would be equipped, they would effectively defend the city. They would be Edinburgh's first line of defence. So these troops, although not experienced in European warfare, they can fire a musket, they can fight if needed. And that's what these men did. Now going down the line, I'll drag him forward. Mr. Brown, would you like to come forward? Now this, shall we say older gentleman, is a member of the Invalids. Now when you'd served your time in the British Army, and perhaps you're a little bit, shall we say, knackered, you'd be given a simple role as garrison duty, or a baggage train handler. So Mr. Brown here, an experienced regular soldier, probably taking semi-retirement, but can still fire a musket. He's a valuable member of the army, effectively. He would know the art of warfare. He's probably been to Europe, fought the French certainly knows what he's doing with a musket. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Now at the far end, let's have a cheer. These guys are the Derbyshire Blues. Give them a cheer. These guys in the blue coats at the far end are the Derby Militia. So these would be tradesmen, men that would have normal jobs, but as you can see, they're given a sorted uniform, they're given a musket, they're given the rudimentary of training. So these men at a pinch would be able to fill a very vital role. They know the area, they know Derbyshire, probably parts of Nottinghamshire. So in the Midlands, these chaps, although they're not incredibly experienced at warfare, they know what they're doing with a musket, they know, they'd be trained, probably not to the same level, probably once or twice a week, but nevertheless, they would know the art of warfare. We've also got, Mr. Walker Spicer, we've also got a member of His Majesty's Royal Navy, of course, the power of the seas. So we've actually got a member of the Royal Navy here today, and the Navy would be supporting, obviously supplying the armies, bringing colonies back from Europe, from the Battle of Fontenoy or the Battle of Dettingen. The Royal Navy were a very important role. Now then, I'm going to quickly fire a volley for you, just to show you how. Take care! Shoulder your father! Each man, regardless of which regiment they serve, is equipped with a brown vest, flintlock muskets. Recover your father! They would be expected to fire 3 rounds a minute in any weather. Loading under instruction. Half pop your fire. You're about to see the loading procedure. Now, a modern rifle or a modern gun, you can fire, 5+ rounds easily. Each single shot has to be loaded separately. I know your cartridge. So the cartridge is a tube of paper which would normally have a lead ball and gunpowder. Right! A small amount of powder is poured into a priming pan on the side of the musket. Pass about to charge. Now the men will then pour the rest of the gunpowder, the paper, the lead ball and the ram, and then use the ramrod to push it all the way down to pack the powder. Roll your runners. Rotten runners. Withdraw your runners. Rotten runners. Mr. Jackson. Put them to the fight. Replace your runners. That's 1 round loaded. Recover! Brigade! Fighting! Range up! Right! Fight! Light! Ready! Fighting! Give him a cheer, ladies and gentlemen!
Thursday, 5th of December, and in the morning, a lot of the Jacobite officers were concerned that a lot of the English catapults had come out far from the rest of them, the regiment that managed to raise from Manchester. And so they wanted to know what the British were doing around it. And where was the French aid looking from? The French, as always, the British as always, they promised to send some troops. Mr. Clark Derby. Now for the boat. My lords, ladies and gentlemen, Chair of South Derbyshire, this is His Royal Highness Prince Charles Edward Stuart, who I am sure would like to say a few words.
Like that, please. Lord. Ladies and gentlemen, it is heartening to see so many of the good people of Derbyshire have assembled on this most auspicious of days. For, although you might not have known it when you arose from your slumbers this morn, this is the day, in this illustrious year of 1745, that you are to be liberated from an unjust and unlawful government which has reigned for 3 generations without legitimacy or right. They said that there was little purpose in my coming here without the vast resources of a foreign monarch to support me. But I knew better. I knew that as a prince of the ancient Stuart blood who has ruled in these kingdoms for so many centuries, that the greatest chance of our success was to cast ourselves upon the mercies of our own subjects. And thus it was that I landed this summer in the western coasts of Scotland and proclaimed my father, James Francis Stuart, to be King James VIII of Scotland and III of England. I have assured my father that I will return to him either with his 3 crowns of England, Scotland and Ireland, or else in a coffin. I am determined to cast myself first into the line of all dangers, and I have raised this army out of nothing, gathering what men could be found first in the Gaelic lands of the north of Scotland. And I perhaps should give you some reassurances on that point. These gentlemen, in their tartans, their fillimores and their fillybags and their tartan trews, may appear terrifying. In fact, they certainly appear terrifying. These are the men who have scoured the battlefield of Prestonpans and carried our arms that they said none could beat. We achieved it. We secured Edinburgh. We secured the battlefield at Prestonpans. We have secured Carlisle. And we have secured Manchester, where fresh forces joined us. And so, this is not some alien force that has come amongst you. This is an army of men from the Highlands of Scotland, from the lowlands of Scotland, and embodied there in the blue coats of the Manchester Regiment, men from your own England as well. And I expect that now you are all here and have heard these words, you will also be joining this army as it progresses towards our goal, which is, of course, London, where we shall cast off the shackles of the Elector George of Hanover and will return this nation to a state of peaceful, harmonious justice. Ladies and gentlemen, God save the King! God save the King! We have secured this bridge and thus the roads to London. We are informed that there is little of consequence to oppose us, and so I expect a swift march forwards from here. We will, however, take rest at this point. My men are footsore and weary, and so we will take refreshment and we will repose before continuing our march. Gentlemen, officers, you may stand down your forces. I will ask, monsieur, you will post, these gentlemen are Irish soldiers who have come across from His Most Christian Majesty of France as a demonstration of the international unanimity supporting our right. They are trained professional soldiers, and so I will give them the task, please, of holding the road to our rear to ensure its security. The rest of you gentlemen, please, fall out, take rest, and we will continue our march to London.
And once they were there, they felt themselves safe. They're actually going there to see if they can stop whatever is coming down that road. And by the sound of the gunfire, it sounds to be the preacher's going to see what's going on. You see the princess there? The princess standard was made out of some naval flags because his original standard was locked with the so the standard was actually a makeshift affair made out of small ship's flags, signaling flags.
Gentlemen!
Firing at will now. Firing from the top. Scottish firing there. Ignoring their swords. Get ready for the island challenge.
Remember Glasgow! Remember Preston Pan!
The reenactment takes place in the garden of the Crew Harpur pub. Several groups participate and put on a great reenactment. On the first Sunday in December, the same event takes place on the green of Derby Cathedral. At the end of the staged battle, a short ceremony was held to honour all those that fell during the Jacobite Rising of 1745 and serves as a reminder of Britain's bloody past. The event is free to attend, and the pub has free parking and offers a welcoming atmosphere and a chance of refreshments. I highly recommend attending next year's event, and I will leave links in the description below for more information. For me, the event was well worth attending, and I will definitely be visiting next year. If you have enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Until then, goodbye.